Good evening, councillors, staff, ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, and to those listening at home, welcome. Please be seated while Councillor Betts delivers the blessing. Thank you.
Almighty God and Father, as we've gathered here for this council meeting, we first of all want to thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon our city and upon us individually. And we thank you for the ability to be involved in the high calling of governing our city. And we pray that as the Mayor chairs the meeting and the directors provide their advice, that we would all work together for the well-being of our city. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Before we begin, I'll do the acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, who are the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today, and we pay our respects to them, their culture and their elders past, present and emerging. It is now 7 p.m. and I declare the meeting open. There is no announcement of visitors. I will just read the disclaimer. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action on council decisions on items in which they may have an interest until such time as they have seen a copy of the minutes of the meeting or have been advised in writing by city staff. Please note that all council meetings are digitally recorded and live streamed on the city's YouTube channel, except for confidential agenda items, during which time the live stream will be temporarily suspended. Record of attendance. We all here bar Councillor Lloyd and Councillor Singh. They are both apologies this evening, so everybody else is here. Are there any disclosures of interest? No disclosures of interest, thank you. Announcements by a presiding member. Just to share with you that last week I attended the thriving metropolis of the Shire of Dundas, which is Norseman and the surrounding areas. For the Welga State Council, a councillor on that council, heard where it was a good council meeting, interesting to see what's going on up there. We had presentations from the shires of Kalgoorlie, Coolgardie, Walloona, Dundas and Esperance. It's really interesting to see all the issues that they've got going on up there. Makes a lot of our stuff look a little bit insignificant as far as the roads go. They've got a lot of road networks that need doing and a lot of infrastructure, and some of the councils even have to fund their own doctors. So they have a lot different than what we've got to deal with, but you know, obviously we've got a lot to deal with here, but theirs is just a different thing. Also to mention that I noticed that we now have nominations for local government elections, so good luck with all of those here today that have nominated, and also we do see there's a name missing, so we're going to say a big thank you to Councillor Baines at our last council meeting, but I just wanted to give her a bit of a shout out right now, Councillor Baines, so your name's not on the list. But I'm sure we will see plenty of you, and we've still got a few more meetings together, so thank you. Now, are there any reports of delegates? Councillor Good, thank you.
Thank you very much. On the 2nd of the 9th, Councillor Williamson, Deputy Mayor Williamson and I attended the Metropolitan Outer Development Assessment Panel meeting for Southern River Business Park, the development approval for 11 self-storage units and 3 warehousing units worth $2.1 million. So it's a lovely start for the Southern River Business Park that we approved at the Metropolitan Outer Development Assessment Panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Good. Are there any other? Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have 2 reports here. The first report is from the Regional Road Group Chairs meeting, which was held on the 15th of August 2025. The meeting brought together chairs from across WA to discuss issues with the road networks and how the grant funding is working. The discussion was really good. It really put into perspective the types of issues the different networks were facing. We are due to start a new agreement with state and federal funding for another 5-year period. So we discussed ways in which we could incentivise rather than have penalties for local governments to actually get spending under control and deliver projects quicker and still at a high quality. So there was a lot of good suggestions coming out of that. There was also a request to investigate road condition surveys across all of the local government roads across WA. That's a huge project and would require very large investment. But that may assist us in ensuring that we prioritise the roads that really need it, like you would have seen when you went to Norseman, how different the issues are that regional areas are facing. And the other thing that we discussed, we had success here in the City of Gosnells with an induction program, training program for elected members onto the regional road group that then moved out across the Metro regional road group. So now Welga is actually looking at taking that and modelling from that to do a webinar across all of WA to train new members onto the road group. Because there's increasing pressure on the chairs to try to get the money spent, so we don't threaten the loss of any state or federal funding. So that was that meeting. The other meeting that I wanted to report back to Council on was held on the Thursday, 28th of August, which was the South East Regional Energy Group. We had our last meeting for this term before the elections. And so Switch Your Thinking has been doing really, really good. We've got the new business plan, as everyone would be aware of. We've fast-tracked some discounts onto our Rewards for Resident program to try to help with some of the cost of living things. So it's in-home energy audits, energy ratings, and we've also been able to put on some suppliers that meet the state and federal government requirements for solar panels and batteries. So if residents are looking to get that installed, if they use these accredited providers, they can even get further discount by being part of the Switch Your Thinking Council. We also had an update of the Energy Policy WA pilot program, which was where the state government has invested $500,000 into Switch Your Thinking to roll out energy efficient programs. With that, we've received quite a number of energy audit kits, which is available in our library, so homeowners can monitor their energy usage within their house and identify areas where they're losing energy. Switch Your Thinking's about to invest in the second round of kits, and so once they're invested and in the libraries, we'll have 146 kits across WA available. So that should make quite a big impact. The other thing I wanted to touch on, being our last... Oh, actually, I just missed one thing. Switch Your Thinking held a local government forum on the 31st of August, 31st of July 2025. And that was Achieving Energy Efficiency by Design. That was well attended with 45 local government personnel attending, as well as 12 non-Switch Your Thinking affiliated staff members, such as Welga and other shires that are not part of our program. So coming to the end of our 4-year term with Switch Your Thinking, I'd just really like to thank the chair. The chair was from City of Armidale, Mayor Ruth Butterfields, and the Serpentine Jarrahdale Council representative was Tricia Duggins. So again, Tricia unfortunately is not running this election, so we farewelled Tricia and thanked her for all of her efforts out at Serpentine Jarrahdale and as part of Switch Your Thinking. So that's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have something you wanted to present?
I do. I think that's in the next part.
Oh, you can...
Can I do it now?
Yes, you might as well. Oh, you can wait for the presentations if you like. Thank you. I don't know why they're separate, but anyway. We'll move on to question time for the public and the receiving of public statements. So first we'll have question time. Is it just this lot? Mr Walker, you can ask questions 1 and 2. Questions 3 and 4 are rhetorical, and you would have to be your own judge on how you answer that. Thank you. Questions 1 and 2 only.
Thank you. Is it possible that, irrespective of authorship, Councillor Dewhurst's weekly column in the Examiner might be considered as election material under the provisions of the Local Government Act?
My understanding is the weekly columns written by Councillor Dewhurst are a private arrangement between himself and the Examiner newspapers, and if anyone sees them as election materials, they would have to take that up with the City's returning officer. Thank you. Your next question.
Regarding the policy on the use of purchase cards, Does the city have a clear written protocol for the use of purchase cards to buy hydration products for employees, including icy poles?
I think I'll get Mr Bradbrook to respond to that question. He's the Director for Business Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There is no specific protocol on purchasing hydration products. The purchase of those products comes through recommendations from our work health and safety team for those staff that are working particularly outdoors in hot weather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Walker. There are no other questions, so we'll move on to public statement time. And the first public statement is from Lee Dix, and it's regarding item number 14 on page 35 of the agenda, which is the request to support the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. Thank you. I'll listen to this and then I'll talk together. Thank you. Just turn your microphone.
Sorry. Yes, I'm doing just what she said. Talking to the motion 14, which is the request to support the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. My name's Lee Dix. I'm from Carlisle. And I'd like to address the motion which Councillor Dewhurst has put forward, one that is significant because this year marks the 80th anniversary of the devastating bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki that shook humanity. Cities and towns have a crucial role to play in rejecting the use of nuclear weapons, of which 14,000 remain in the world today, held by 9 nations. With rising global instability, the world is once again facing the very real risk of nuclear weapons being used. Nuclear weapons predominantly target cities and civilians and affect civilians. Any use of nuclear weapons, whether deliberate or accidental, would have far-reaching and long-lasting consequences for people and the environment. And this is relevant to your council because we know that nuclear materials are going to be stored and transported in Perth as part of the AUKUS agreement. Nuclear submarines are going to be stationed in Rockingham, making Perth a target. And the current Australian defence policy supports the threat and potential use of nuclear weapons by the United States on Australia's behalf. Cities like Gosnells would be responsible for many of the services that would be catastrophically disrupted if there were a nuclear attack or accident. Your council would be expected to coordinate local responses for things like managing evacuations, disposal of debris, helping people access safe food and water, disposal of bodies, disease control, and maintaining social order. Nuclear weapons have no place in our world. They offer only the delusion of safety and the certainty of devastation. This resolution is essentially about you nurturing a culture of peace in your city and building a safer and more resilient city by saying no to nuclear weapons. 51 local Australian councils have already signed the ICANN Cities Appeal, 4 of them here in Perth. So hopefully, thank you for joining them and supporting nuclear disarmament.
Thank you very much. Can I just hold one moment? Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Sorry, councillors. I have another statement here from Mr. Leon Walker. Mr. Walker, you can read your statement. However, I would ask you to omit paragraphs 4 and paragraph 6, as they are a bit of they believe they contain objectionable expressions. So if you could please remove paragraphs 4 and 6, thank you. Yes, thank you. And if 6 is what other?
I refer to item 14.1 on the agenda. I argue that the best outcome is for the motion to lapse because no one seconds it. I acknowledge that the motion will have some popular support in the community. However, it is my view that Councillor Dewhurst's motion doesn't relate to the core, if any, business of the city. Is this chamber the appropriate venue for such conduct? I posit that it is not, and that Councillor Dewhurst's motion should be treated appropriately. Irrespective of any thoughts, feelings and opinions you may have about me, I request your partnership in this matter by no one seconding the motion. Finally, I advise this statement was written by me and not wholly or partially by a ghostwriter or writers, nor by artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Walker. Okay, we'll now move on to the confirmation of the minutes. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Dewhurst to move that and Councillor Islam to second that. Is there any questions on the minutes, councillors? No, thank you. Could you please cast your vote? Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. We'll now move on to the receiving of petitions and presentations. Are there any? Thank you. Councillor McDonald, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have here a petition from a cohort of residents from Corriedale Place in Thornley, and they've notified that a footpath proposed to be built on one particular side of Corriedale Place, due for construction in November this year, has now been altered and to be now constructed on the other side of Corriedale Place, with works to begin as early as mid-September. And they've put forward this petition on the basis that this has occurred without any community consultation, and site grounds such as dangerous topography, pedestrian vehicle conflict and risk of accidents, driveway safety and risk of pedestrian injury, design flaws and accessibility issues, and illogical pedestrian flow and flawed reasoning for the change. So I move that the petition be received and a report be prepared for council, please.
Seeking a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Islam. Thank you. Councillors, will you please cast your vote on that? Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Councillor Deputy Mayor Williamson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a presentation. On the 23rd of August, I attended the Nepali Association of WA Tej event. The festival was a way to honour women and celebrate their future prosperity, something that we all agree with. So I was awarded, well, the council was awarded this trophy in recognition of our support of the Nepali community. And also this lovely scarf, which we can maybe put with our collection. So I'll bring this up to you now.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Thank you. I also have a petition here. This is from the Reigate Street residents that are against a through road. Reigate Street has always been a dead-end street where there is local traffic only. Our children ride their bikes and scooters, etc., and play cricket, just being kids. We believe that there is no benefit of making Reigate Street a thoroughfare where there will be a lot more traffic and an increase in the speed of vehicles, endangering the pedestrians and ruining our close-knit neighbourhood. We want the works on joining Reigate Street together to cease while we seek legal advice. We were not informed that this work would be completed and as such are very upset. Please stop work and re-establish the no-through road. I'm moving that this petition be received, as I've driven there today and the road has been completed. So I'm not sure what else could be done there. So move that petitions received, and I'm seeking a seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Williamson. Councillors, if you please cast your vote on this petition. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to applications of leave of absence. Are there any? No, thank you. There are no questions of which due notice has been given, so we'll move on to item 13.4.1, the History and Heritage Advisory Group meeting on the 7th of August 2025. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor McDonald to move this and Councillor Baines to second this. Is there any debate or questions on this item, councillors? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to 13.5.1, the policy review for CP 5.5.3, the corporate purchase cards. Can I get a mover for this? Councillor Adams to move this. Councillor Dalton to second this. Councillor Adams, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Dalton? Would anybody else like to speak to this item? No? Councillors, if you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Moving on to item 13.5.2, the proposed council policy CP 4.2.6, privacy. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Good to move this. Councillor Islam to second this. Councillor Good, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Islam? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to thank our staff for their hard work in bringing up this policy. It sets out a clear and transparent approach on how the city collects, stores, manages, and shares personal information in accordance with the Privacy and Responsible Information Sharing Act. So I support this policy as it provides a transparent framework that safeguards communities' trust and confidence while enabling responsible use of information to deliver better services by the city. And I request everyone to support this policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Islam. Is there any further debate or questions on this, councillors? No? If you could please cast your vote. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Now moving on to 13.5.3, the proposed policy request for revaluations and changes to rating categories. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Baines to move this, a seconder. Councillor Islam to second this. Thank you. Councillor Baines, would you like to speak to this item? Councillor Islam, would you like to speak to this item? I have an amendment for this item, councillors. You all have it in front of you, but for the benefit of the gallery, I will read it out. That the staff recommendation be amended by the inclusion of the following additional part. The council supports a focus on tree planting and canopy expansion in Kenwick over the next few years, with a particular focus initially on planting in Austin Avenue as the highest priority, and with funding to be drawn from the Maddington Kenwick Revitalisation Reserve as necessary to support the works for the following reason. While it's not directly related to the proposed it is not directly related to the proposed policy. Queries in relation to property revaluations and changes to the rating categories were first raised in discussions about redevelopment occurring in Mooksy, and the city has undertaken a significant amount of work to rezone properties in the Mooksy from general rural to business development. The city is now in a position to assist the residents of Kenwick with a particular focus on canopy expansion through tree planting. And I'm seeking a seconder for this, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Williamson to second this. Look, I think a lot of this is already said in this amendment, is that there is going to be a significant loss of habitat through the redevelopment of Mooksy, and I think that in order to give some benefit for the nearby residents is that we do concentrating on increasing the canopy in the Kenwick area. With there's quite a few areas that still need a fair bit of canopy there. We've got Austin Avenue. By creating a bit of canopy there, you're creating a barrier between the residential area and the industrial area for starters there. And also we obviously have the Kenwick Link, which is barren, and that will be another future project to do, as well as whatever else we can do within the area to increase the tree canopy to our target and maybe beyond our target. So, councillors, I seek your support in this amendment. Deputy Mayor, as a seconder, would you like to speak to this? Would anybody else like to speak to this? No? Councillors, if you could cast your vote on the amendment, please. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. We'll now put the amendment back with the original item. Is there any more debate or questions on the original item, councillors? No? If you could cast your vote on the original item. Thank you. Thank you. That has been carried. Now move on to item 14.1, request to support the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. Councillor Dewhurst to move this. Seeking a seconder for this. Councillor Baines to second this. Councillor Dewhurst would like to speak to this item.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll see how the debate goes. Councillors, I believe moving this motion tonight is a simple but powerful belief. If we support this, then we are choosing a future that we've had a voice in to be free from the shadow of nuclear weapons. We know that nuclear weapons do not discriminate. They target cities, they target civilians, they target families. A single detonation can wipe out the city like ours in seconds, killing tens of thousands of innocent people. Multiple detonations could end millions of lives and destroy the very environment our children and grandchildren depend on. Some may ask, what can a local council like Gosnells do about this? It's a global issue. Individually, our voices may not carry far, but when joined with dozens of other councils across Australia and hundreds more around the world, we amplify our message. We show the ordinary communities where families live, where children go to school, where people simply want to live in peace, are standing up and saying, enough is enough. 51 councils across Australia, including Perth, Fremantle, Coburn, Bassendean, have already endorsed the ICANN Cities Appeal. Even the Australian Local Government Association has unanimously called on the federal government to sign and ratify the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. Polling shows that 2/3 of Australians agree. We too have a chance tonight to add our voices. This motion is not about politics, it is about principle. It's about recognising nuclear weapons threaten all people in all nations, and the only safe number of nuclear weapons is 0. So I ask you, councillors, when you vote on this motion, think not of the halls of power of Canberra or Washington, but of the streets of Gosnells. Think of our children, think of your children, think of your grandchildren, and ask yourselves, do you want them to grow up in a future overshadowed by nuclear weapons, or where communities like ours had the courage to speak out? Let us be part of the growing movement of cities that say clearly we do not accept a world where humanity holds the power to destroy itself. Lost a piece of paper. What is quite disturbing tonight is that I've had a number of people tell me tonight that this is not, possibly not going to get up. What has this got to do with councils? What has this got to do with local councils? So local councils are the closest level of government to the people. This is to remind you all. We are the voices of our community. Where an issue has global importance like nuclear weapons, councils have the duty to express the concerns of their residents. Saying this isn't our role is effectively silencing the voices of our community members who are deeply concerned about the children and grandchildren's future. Across Australia and the world, councils have historically taken positions on matters beyond rubbish collection and roads, from climate change to refugee resettlement to marriage equality. Councils in Fremantle, Melbourne, Sydney and other international cities have passed motions calling for nuclear disarmament. If they can, why can't we? Nuclear weapons are not abstract. Perth, like any major city, would be a potential target in a global conflict. The humanitarian, environmental and economic consequences would devastate our local community. Radioactive fallout knows no council boundaries. Protecting our community is at the heart of our role. Big change often starts from the bottom up. Councils were among the first to declare climate emergencies. Councils were among the first to call for action on smoking bans, asbestos safety and other issues that become national policy. Local government voices matter in setting the tone for broader political action. Our role is not just service delivery, it's advocacy. We lobby state and federal governments all the time on issues from roads, funding to health services. Nuclear disarmament is no different. It's an issue where our advocacy adds to a chorus of voices pushing for peace and safety. Ultimately, nuclear weapons threaten every resident in our city. We cannot look our community in the eye and say, that's not our job. If we fail to take a stand on this tonight of something that is so important, what message are we sending about the values we hold as a council? If local government is the voice of people, then surely it is our duty to speak on issues that threaten the very survival of our humanity. Nuclear disarmament is not outside our role. It is at the core of protecting our community's future. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Baines, would you like to speak on this? Is anybody speaking against this item? Deputy Mayor Williamson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move an amendment to this motion. And the amendment I would like to move is I, Councillor Williamson, propose the following: that the staff recommendation be amended by deleting parts 4 and 5. For the following reason: it is appropriate to acknowledge the anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, sorry about my pronunciation, and it is self-evident that the use of nuclear weapons would have devastating and far-reaching consequences. However, it would be remiss for Council to call on another level of government to take action without an in-depth understanding of the request and the potential implications for Australia. Indeed, Council has not been provided with a copy of the treaty or any advice on the legal or other implications. As the Commonwealth Government is funded to address foreign affairs matters and international treaties, they would have a far broader understanding of the benefits, risks and consequences of those treaties and the expertise to balance this against community sentiment. As a council, we need to ensure we use ratepayers' funds to focus on delivering quality services and facilities for our residents and ratepayers and allow the other tiers of government to perform their functions. Thank you.
You seeking a seconder? I'll second that. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, if you'd like to speak to it. Thank you.
It's not a staff recommendation that she's amending, but actually a motion
Proposed
from
motion,
the
yes.
council. Just
Yes.
a tiny little...
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just shortly add, I have no doubt that everyone in this room tonight, everyone around the table, everyone in the gallery, everyone watching online, everyone in our community, everyone in the city of Gosnells, everyone across Australia and everyone throughout Australia values and chooses peace above all. However, we are not in a position tonight, we're not equipped to debate this issue and understand the complexities of what we're pushing for. So tonight, I ask you to support the first 3 parts of the motion and put the other 2 parts to rest. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. As a seconder, I will speak in support of your amendment. Like you have said, we don't understand what's in the treaty. We're not sure. We do know, as Councillor Dew has said, that City of Coburn has signed the AUKUS deal, but I don't know when that was. Sorry, they've got an AUKUS deal, and I'm not sure when this was endorsed as opposed to the AUKUS deal. I don't have all that information in front of me, so it was interesting to see that you had said that all these other councils had supported it. It's interesting to see if they took the AUKUS deal into account for that, or if it was before, after, or whatever. So there's a lot here to consider, given that I don't know when the AUKUS deal came into effect as part of those cities. So I'm happy to support 1, 2 and 3, but 4 and 5 are happy to support your amendment on that. Thank you. Anybody else like to speak to Councillor Dewhurst's amendment? Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Williamson's amendment. Councillor Dewhurst, yes, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, this has got nothing to do with AUKUS. Because we're not putting nuclear bombs on our submarines. We're putting nuclear engines in our submarines. And to suggest that it's a part of the of this and the City of Coburn's decision is just not right. Now, it disappoints me again. This is 2 meetings in a row where I believe we're going to look foolish as a council.
Sorry, what was that?
We're going to look foolish as a council.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because if you're coming to a meeting, this amendment went out a long time ago during the week, you know, and if you're going to sit here and think, oh, well, we'll just mark this off because we haven't had time to look at what the treaty says. Well, go look at the treaty. You've had plenty of time to do that. Why didn't you just do that? But no, we'll just mark it off, we'll put our heads in the sand, we'll fix some roads and all that sort of stuff. You know, that's all we seem to do. I mean, this goes back to 2 weeks ago where we had the cockatoo thing out. We had a motion that from the staff to say, we want a cockatoo policy. Yay, we voted for that. Great, we need a cockatoo policy. Then I brought another motion up to say, you know, they're going to clear 6,000 hectares of trees sitting up there from our co-op.
Councillor Dewhurst, you'll need to stay on topic for the item at hand.
I am staying. This is relevant.
Carry on.
And yeah, thank you. And so they're going to clear 6,000 trees. I mean, this is my fault as well, but the thing is, what we're asking for is for the council to take a stance on our COAs and to put a submission in to our COA and to prepare a report in regards to the clearing of the trees. And, you know, does it affect us? That's what it was, but that didn't happen. Because one of the councillors here 25 years ago visited our COA and said they're planting lots of trees up there. But I mean, councillors, we need to get out of the city of Gosnells and have a look around. The mayor's trying to do it. We need to get out and have a look what's happening in our COA. We should know about environmental stuff like that. I mean, we've had people here chanting and arguing with us about the trees and all the issues. We should be getting out there. And
Councillor Dewhurst, I asked you to come back to this topic, not the trees.
I'm coming back to it. I'm coming back to it. Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, we need to get out there. We need to get out and have a look past City of Gosnells, guys, because I'll tell you what, there's life out from here, from the City of Gosnells. Trust me, there is. There's a lot of life up out there. Okay? And to listen to this amendment, which that's been put up, and I understand what Councillor Williams is saying, but the thing is, I would have prepared it. I wouldn't have stood up and said, I don't know what's in the treaty. I would have gone and looked in the treaty, had a look, see what it's about. But this doesn't boil down to, I said, councillors, politics. This is not about politics, and unfortunately, I've got a feeling it's going to be about politics. Okay? This is about, do we want nuclear weapons in the world? And Councillor Williamson spoke 7 times. 7 times. I can't remember what the word you said. We don't want nuclear. We don't. Yeah. Thank you. You know, we all want peace. You know, and well, to do that. Well, let's get rid of the weapons. I'm really not going to be able to do it, but I tell you what, you'll be very surprised what an idea actually gets a good movement. I mean, you look at what's happening globally now, where small communities have got together and now they're rallying and it's become worldwide movements. Look at the movement on the, I've got to think of a good one, the no movement, or about the females. You know, I can't remember what that one was now. There's been a lot of movements, I'm sorry. Can you help me what that was?
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, Me Too movement, thank you. I mean, that just got off, I'm sure someone just walked along one day and said, oh, you know, me too. And it just went from there. So I am sure there is no one here would like to see nuclear weapons. I don't want to see them drop around here, and quite frankly, I'm actually scared. I lay awake, not every night, but occasionally, about what's happening globally, and I think we all should. You know, this is nothing more than saying, you know what, we don't want to have nuclear weapons. We don't support nuclear weapons, and I'm sure none of you do. I hope you don't. But if you do, well, you know, I've got to respect that. But tonight is about, do you support nuclear weapons or don't you? It's not about me not doing my homework. It's not about not having enough knowledge. We're adults. We have to know there's another world out there apart from the City of Gosnells. We are much more than roads and rubbish bins. So I just ask is, don't support the amendment. Let's not make this politics. Let's make this about having common sense. I'll tell you what, there's a few of us around here who've got little kids and stuff like that. And I would love to put my hand on my heart and say, you know what, I had something to do with that if they did ban nuclear weapons. Or if they start dropping them or saying, no, I didn't say it. I didn't put my hand on my chest. So, councillors, you know, I can see the writing on the wall, because that's how you all go. But I was asking you not to support the amendment. I ask you to support the fact is we don't want nuclear weapons in the world. That's a very basic thing, and if you don't understand it, get out of council. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Dewhurst, would anybody else like to speak on the amendment? Councillor Betts, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to speak in support of the amendment, because I'm the one who actually did Google the treaty. I actually Googled and discovered that both, and you said it's not about politics, both the Liberal government did not sign that policy. The Labor government has not signed that policy because there's a whole lot of national, international implications that go with this. And I'll reserve my comments for once this amendment is passed or defeated to speak to the body of the motion and just give some more details there. But I think, we just need to realise that it's much bigger than just simply virtue signalling, because that's really what this motion would be. Thank you. I support the amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Would anybody else like to speak to the amendment? Would you like to close, Deputy Mayor? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think for those that know me, know I would have done some homework on this, and this amendment didn't just come out of the blue because I couldn't be bothered reading up on anything. So what I have read up is that the 1968 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and the 1986 Rarotonga, sorry, these big words again, treaty were signed by Australia. However, as Councillor Betts has stated, both the Liberal and Labor Party have refused to progress signing this particular treaty. That flags to me that they are considering it, but there is more implications than we may be aware of. And I personally don't have the technical expertise, I don't have the contacts to be able to evaluate that. And it would be unreasonable for me to ask our city staff to prepare a report on that when that is not their area of expertise. And it would be unreasonable to engage foreign experts or lawyers in that area to prepare that report to us using ratepayer funds, when our ratepayers' funds are very scarce. There's another department, Foreign Affairs, which is adequately funded to do that investigation. So I think, you know, we all have children, we all choose peace. By supporting this amendment, it doesn't mean that we're not supporting peace. And I think one of the things is Councillor Dewhurst has issued us with a very long rant of insults. They've been flying fast across these chambers, and insults to our community as well that would have concerns with this. So I ask you not to be wavered by those insults. We're all educated, we can all make our decision based on facts, and we can make reasonable decisions without political pressures being put on us. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Could you please cast your vote on the amendment? Thank you. Thank you. The amendment has been carried. We now go back to the original item. Is there any further debate on the original item? Councillor, you'll be closing, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Good, then Councillor Betts. Thank you, Councillor Good. Sorry, someone didn't vote on the last one. Thank you. Oh, we'll just reset that and can vote again, please, on the amendment. Thank you. Thank you. The amendment has been carried. Councillor Good, if you would like to. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've got some information to read out. So for the sake of the exercise, I don't know the author, but this was pretty pertinent, so whilst I can't claim any credit for the words. While there is no denying the good intentions behind the idea of banning nuclear weapons, I think we should carefully consider the many consequences and challenges that come with making such a decision. Let's start by recognising the fundamental security issues that countries face in a geopolitical environment that is constantly changing. Having nuclear weapons on hand prevents aggressiveness and preserves a delicate power balance that prevents confrontations from escalating into catastrophic failures. A shaky state of peace has been maintained throughout history by the numerous instances where the mere existence of these weapons has successfully discouraged violent tendencies among nations. What's more, it is impossible to undervalue the strategic importance of nuclear deterrence. In certain instances, having nuclear weapons has aided in diplomatic discussions and peace agreements. With all of its tension, the Cold War was largely peaceful because of the mutually assured destruction philosophy, otherwise known as MAD. Both parties were forced by this tactic to stay out of direct conflict in order to prevent disastrous outcomes. Furthermore, nuclear security standards have significantly improved as a result of technology breakthroughs. Countries have poured a lot of money into keeping these weapons safe, which lowers the possibility of an unintentional explosion or improper use. This heightened degree of supervision and control acts as an essential buffer against unforeseen circumstances. In addition, there are many different political philosophies, power struggles, and regional wars that make up the complex and very global political scene. Under these circumstances, pushing for an all-out ban on nuclear weapons would be counterproductive because it might put some countries at a disadvantage, especially when it comes to enemies that don't seem interested in disarmament. An imbalance of power could result in the increased likelihood of conventional combat, which has traditionally resulted in large-scale deaths and destruction. Madam Mayor, how much time have I got left for my first 5 minutes? So about a minute? Okay, I may need an extension, I'll call it, flag it. I'm also going to quote something else, but I'll give you the author of this one. Are we already, without realising it, in the foothills of a new world war, a Cold War, to be sure, but still a global conflict? The conflicts between Israel and Iran, Russia and Ukraine, and potentially China and Taiwan are closely related. An Iran with nuclear weapons transforms the global geostrategic environment. Nuclear weapons are roaring back to the centre of geostrategic equations. One of the most important developments of our time is the new alliance between China, Russia, North Korea and Iran. They are not a formal alliance. They have all kinds of mutual suspicions and paranoias, but they're acting with as much effectiveness as an alliance as is in the Western alliance led by the United States. I could go on. Bottom line being, this is the quote here, this is an article from Greg Sheridan, foreign editor of the Australian newspaper. He writes extensively on foreign affairs. And basically the bottom line being is, I do understand where Councillor Dewhurst is coming from. I get the intent of what this is all about. No one wants nuclear war or nuclear weapons, but from a very particular point of view, I've voted with the amendment because, yes, I acknowledge the destruction that has occurred and would occur if it happened again, but I argue the simple point, it simply exists, and no matter how much we'd like to outlaw it on this planet, there'll always be rogue nations who want to have a go at it. It's as simple as that. So that's why I will be against the motion from Councillor Dewhurst. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Good. Would anybody else like to speak to this, the full motion? Oh, Councillor Betts, you were next, sorry. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Just in terms of, I think it's important for us to remember that we have 3 levels of government, and the federal government is the one that has the responsibility for defence and foreign affairs, etc. And so a treaty such as this certainly comes under that remit, and it's definitely not within the remit of local government. Now, it's all... I'm always concerned about what I see as virtue signalling. I'm old enough to remember when in Victoria, and I'm not sure what happened in Western Australia, but when we lived in Victoria, various local governments declared themselves nuclear-free zones. And guess what happened? Oh dear, our hospitals use nuclear medicine. We're going to shut those down? Oh dear, but it sounded so good to have a nuclear-free zone. But so I'm always very wary about those kinds of things. Well, I'm sure that those behind the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons are well-intentioned. If we pass this motion in its original form, I believe we would be doing little more than virtue signalling. And I think the amendment that's been passed allows us to just simply make in a sense, a motherhood statement. It's something I don't think anybody would disagree with. And I think we all understand that nuclear weapons are incredibly destructive in terms of the enormous physical force that they unleash, as well as the immediate and longer-term impact of radioactive fallout. And when Councillor Dewhurst's motion came before us, I did a bit of reading around Hiroshima and the dropping of the atom bombs, and it's actually interesting to learn that nobody knows the exact number of people who were killed, but it's believed to be somewhere around 140 to 200,000 people who were killed instantly or in the weeks following from their burns and other injuries, and that many had shortened lives because of the effect of the radiation fallout. But the interesting thing is that had the war continued using only conventional weapons, at least 1 million more soldiers would have lost their lives, not to mention all the civilians that would have lost their lives. So as horrible as dropping an atom bomb or 2 atom bombs was, it actually saved a lot of lives. So it's something that it's almost counterintuitive. We kind of don't like the sound of that, but I just remind you that just even traditional bombs, some of you may be aware of the bombing of Dresden in the Second World War. Massive numbers of refugees were fleeing the advance of the Russian army. Dresden was packed with refugees, and the Allies just dropped ordinary fire bombs on that city. Nobody knows how many tens of thousands of people lost their lives, but it's considered to be at least 100,000. That's just ordinary weapons. War is horrible. It doesn't matter how you fight a war. War is always a terrible thing. And the problem with the campaign to abolishing nuclear weapons is that it assumes that all states are honourable. If all Western nations decide to dismantle their nuclear arsenal, do we really think that North Korea, that China, that Russia would dismantle theirs? Do we really think that it would stop Iran from trying to pursue its goal of getting nuclear weapons? If we think that, I think we're living in la la land. And in fact, I believe the worst thing that could happen is that the Western nations who value freedom and liberty would dismantle their arsenal of nuclear weapons, because the reality is rogue states will continue to have them. And so while I appreciate the intentions of those supporting the campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, that their intentions are honourable and well-intentioned, I cannot support the original motion, and I'm just still trying to make up my mind whether to even support the amended motion, because it's really just a motherhood statement, so I'm still trying to weigh that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Betts. Would anybody else like to speak to this item? I just have a couple of questions before you close. I thought I might clarify a few things, since you like to point out that I didn't know what I was talking about, which is fine, because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to this, but I was under the impression that some of those submarines coming in under the AUKUS deal would have and could have, maybe not now, but in the future could have nuclear weapons on it. So I wasn't sure how this all ties in together, because this is not in my remit. And as a mayor of a city, I do not have need to know what's happening on those ships all of the time. And yes, I would be against nuclear weapons, but I don't understand how this all plays together. So, and I'll admit I don't. But maybe I'll ask one of the staff members to answer the question about the AUKUS deal and what that might mean for submarines, if they could. No? No one? My point is that I don't have any technical advice to go on here. So, yes, I will admit I don't know what I'm talking about, but I will be supporting the amended motion, but I won't be but yes, I'll be supporting the amended motion, but I just wanted to clarify a few points there. So thank you for that, Councillor Dewhurst. Would anybody else like to speak on this? Councillor Islam, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have spoken enough. I think I'll just make a couple of points. While we all recognise the importance of this issue, and I agree with Councillor Dewhurst about we don't support any country possessing nuclear weapons. However, there is a problem when we step in someone's toes. There is a clear level of governments, Councillor Abbott mentioned about local governments, state governments, and federal. It's a matter of federal governments. It's an international matter. So I don't believe nuclear disarmament is a matter for local government. Our role is to focus on services and responsibilities that directly affect our communities and our residents. So for that reason, I won't be supporting this motion, even with amended form. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Islam. Anybody else like to speak on this? Councillor Dewhurst, if you'd like to close, thank you.
Okay, I will be supporting the amended motion. At least we'll get something there that's quite reasonable. Now, during the debates, I heard 3 times that the Liberal Party and the Labor Party did not support this. That was mainly because of the pressure from the United States. You say, oh, that can't be true. We're our own government. We're not puppets of the United States. But let's look at what happened in Iraq when we sent Australian soldiers over there for looking for, for weapons of mass destruction. There was nothing across there. So you putting your trust in your federal government to try and stay independent from our friends in the US and other countries. Well, the facts aren't there. It's not there. I am disappointed. I certainly respect the thoughts of it there. I was certainly not. I can't remember the words that Councillor Williams used, but I was actually talking factual. Wasn't scaring anybody. This is what I really believe of this council, and I'll stand behind it. The fact is that we have to look out further than the city of Gosnells, and you know, perhaps in hindsight, maybe we did need a little bit more time and time on it, and discussed it and the ramifications on it and that. I don't believe we need to get foreign people in here to do a report or even just to send a letter off, because I'm pretty sure the team from ICAT could have put something together for us and would have been very happy to come and have a chat to us. So that's not factual in regards to, you know, that's just scaremongering. But either way, we'll get somewhere with this. We'll all stand around together and feel for the amendments of 1, 2 and 3. And for the amendments, sorry, the motion of 1, 2 and 3. But I can't believe what I'm hearing in regards to the fact is that nuclear weapons don't scare people. So anyway, thanks very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillors. Will you please cast your vote on the motion as amended? Thank you. That has been carried. Now on to item 15. There is no urgent business. There are no confidential matters, and I declare the meeting closed at 7:56. Thank you very much. Everyone have a safe journey home.